Successful here, maybe I can. Huh? You think?
Good evening and welcome to the Manteno Village Board meeting for Monday, April 3rd, 2023. I'd like to call the meeting to order, and if we could all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Excuse me.
Roll call, please.
Boyce, Martin,
Here.
Dole. Here. Crockett, Geske.
Here.
Phillips.
Here.
We have a quorum. As always, we begin with the reading of the approval of the minutes enclosed in everyone's packet. The copy of the minutes were submitted by the clerk. Are there any changes, additions, deletions, corrections? Seeing none, I'll take a motion to waive the reading of the minutes and approve them as presented by the clerk.
So moved.
Motion by Geske.
Second.
Second by Phillips. Roll call.
Geske.
Yes.
Phillips.
Yes.
Martin.
Yes.
Dole. Yes.
Motion carries. Public participation, anyone that signed up to address the board?
No one this evening, Mayor.
The village president's report, just a couple items tonight. Got a proclamation that I wanted to read. We've been asked to proclaim April as Child Abuse Prevention Month. Whereas preventing child abuse and neglect is a community problem that depends on involvement among people throughout the community, and whereas we all have a responsibility as individuals, neighbors, community members, and citizens of the village of Manteno, and whereas safe and healthy childhoods produce confident and successful adults, and whereas child abuse and neglect often occurs when people find themselves in stressful situations without community resources and don't know how to cope. And whereas the majority of child abuse cases stem from situations, conditions that are preventable in an engaged and supportive community, and whereas child abuse and neglect can be reduced by making sure each family has the support they need in raising their children in a safe, nurturing environment, and whereas effective child abuse prevention programs succeed because of the partnerships created among social service agencies, schools, faith communities, civic organizations, law enforcement agencies, and the business community. Now therefore, I, Timothy O. Nugent, by virtue of the authority invested in me as mayor of the village of Manteno, do hereby proclaim April 2023 as Child Abuse Prevention Month and call upon all citizens, community agencies, faith groups, medical facilities, and businesses to increase their participation in our efforts to support families, thereby preventing child abuse and strengthening the community in which we live. This will be signed and sent to the organization involved with the proclamation that requested the proclamation and posted on our website and on our village sign. Also, we have a request for Dad's Day participation. Village of Manteno, to whom it may concern, the Will Grundy County's Building and Construction Trades Council and the Kankakee-Iroquois County Building Trades of the AFL-CIO will once again hold its annual fundraiser for Dad's Day, Dollars Against Diabetes, scheduled for Saturday, June 17th, 2023. This is the 37th year the Building Trades has helped host this fundraiser to help fight diabetes. Each year, collections seem to surpass the previous year. Last year in Will and Grundy counties and Kankakee County area, we collected over $52,000. This year, we'd like to at least match that amount, if not surpass it. Again, numerous building trades volunteers, their families and friends, will be donating their time for this worthy cause. With the help of our area businesses and our community leaders allowing us to collect in front of their establishments and at various intersections, our unions can help raise money for research so one day there may be a cure for diabetes. We are again asking for your support to work with us on Saturday, June 17th, 2023. We ask your permission to use designated intersections for our collections. We will be collecting between the hours of 8 a.m. and noon. If there are any permits that need to be issued, we ask for your help in obtaining them. We are also asking your permission to ask various businesses to use their storefronts for our collections. In the past, many of our community officials have given us verbal permission over the telephone to conduct our fundraiser. We've had a slight problem with the miscommunication with community officials and police departments. If we could have a letter or a written statement that we have been approved, it would be greatly appreciated. You may also email approval to IBEW or fax the approval. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact our office and speak to Margaret. Thank you in advance for your help and cooperation. This is something that we've allowed every year in the past several years, as long as I can remember, and well, we've had no issues. Would anyone have any comments at all? If not, I'd accept a motion to approve them And will have Chris and the chief contact them and make them aware of the approval and become aware of whatever safety precautions they need to take in order to, solicit in Manteno.
So move.
Motion by Geske,
Second.
second by Dole. All in favor signify by aye. Aye. Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. Chris, you want to call them or contact them and let them know, and then maybe like say let them know if they're going to be out on any of the city streets that they're going to need to have vests and whatever other safety equipment that's provided. I think the police department can provide some of that stuff.
Yeah, we'll definitely get them something in writing.
Okay. The other item that I have on my agenda, and will be on the consent agenda, is a motion to authorize a donation of $37,669 to Fortitude Outreach Community for use in building a homeless shelter. As all of you are aware, we had Fortitude came to our committee meeting last week and put on a presentation in regards to the community shelter that they are planning on constructing in the city of Kankakee. We all, heard the statistics and the information that they provided in regards to the fact that a homeless shelter, even though it's located in the city of Kankakee, that it's not a city of Kankakee issue by itself. That it's the homeless problem is something that is universal throughout the area, and that we have issues with it too. The chief commented at the meeting the other day that we have had situations in the past where we have had no place to take people where they needed some type of shelter, and they've taken people as far as to Joliet on different occasions. This is something that they presented to all the area mayors and are asking for all the different communities to participate in. I came up with a formula that since the city of Kankakee had authorized a $100,000 expenditure for the city's donation, that came out to about $4.09 per person based on the city population. So I had recommended to Fortitude that if they were going to go around into all the different communities and ask them for contributions, that they would potentially use that formula, so each community would have an idea as to what they were asking for, rather than having some communities give a little and some give a lot, or some not give anything. That would be a potential formula. They somewhat adopted that formula, and that's what they're going around asking. And that's the $37,669 figure based on the Manteno population at $4.09 per person based on our last census. So I'm asking that we authorize that expenditure. We have, Mr. Tankar Joe was on vacation last week. We have asked him to draw up a memorandum or a document anyway to somewhat guarantee that our money is spent towards the construction phase of the Fortitude building. And if by chance that Fortitude would happen to dissolve over the course of the next few years, we don't assume that there's anything like that going to take place, but that if it did, for some unforeseen reason, that Manteno, because of the donation, would have some method of getting some of that money back, either through the sale of the building or whatever the appropriate action would be. I don't anticipate anything like that happening. This organization has been in existence for a number of years, and they've been providing service at various locations. I think this would only enhance their ability to be able to provide the service and make them even more needed and used throughout the community. But we've asked him to review it and give us some type of document, and we don't have that yet. But I've asked Chris to put this on the agenda for tonight's meeting so we could potentially get the number approved. And if Joe comes up with some document that we need to have signed by Fortitude previous to releasing the money in order to protect the investment, then we'll do that at the time that we give them the potential donation. Again, I think if there's if they're in business for the next 4 or 5 years and hopefully beyond, and, unless the problem would go away, and I don't see that happening, that our donation obviously would have proved its worth. But we're just looking for some way to protect us in case the unfortunate happened and we went out of business for one reason or another. So I'm asking tonight on the consent agenda that we approve the authorization of the expenditures to Fortitude with that caveat. Any questions or comments in regards to the Fortitude donation?
Has Kankakee approved it, then they are...
They have approved the expenditure. Whether that actual transaction has taken place or not, I don't know. They had some things to work out, and that I talked to the mayor a couple weeks ago, and he said that they were well on their way to getting those issues taken care of. There was some problems about what the police department's role was going to be, and he was confident that it was going to happen. I don't want to make our donation contingent on every other community participating, because I don't want some community that decides not to, and then then they don't receive our money either. I mean, I think it's a problem that all the communities should participate, whether they will or not. That's entirely up to them. I mean, personally, I think it's the right thing to do, and if it's the right thing to do, I think we should do it whether or not any other community does it. If it's, if the rest of the communities get on board and do it, that's a good thing in my book. If they don't, that doesn't mean the problem goes away. I think that, we need to make our investment based on the fact that we think it's the right thing to do. Mr. Martin?
But we're doing this contingent on Kankakee funding this. I don't care about Bradley, Burbank, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. I don't,
Kankakee has to be.
because it's located in Kankakee, we don't want to give an investment unless Kankakee is on board. Or that's my feeling anyway. We're not going to help them improve their prospects of getting it done unless Kankakee is 100% on board with the process.
And they were donated the ground, right? Like, was it on Washington, behind CVS or something? I kind of forget where they said actually it was.
That's the location,
Yeah.
They had looked at a number of various locations. Right now, they're at St. Paul's Church, but they can't be there anymore after this year. They had looked at another location on South 4th Avenue, but there was some rezoning issues that they couldn't overcome there, and so they abandoned that, and they had this land donated to them, and that's where the city of Kankakee would prefer them to be. So that's where they're hoping to start construction in the next couple months. I know they're about $400,000 short of their goal, and the donations from the various municipalities would help them achieve that goal. Any other questions? This will be on the consent agenda later on in the meeting then, but that's one of the items that I have on there. I have nothing further. Village Administrator's report, Mr. LaRock.
Thank you. I have nothing this evening, Mr. Mayor.
All right. Committee reports, Public Works and Utilities. Mr. Boyce is not here. Mr. Martin, you want to take that?
Sure. Old business done, new business. We've got a consideration to a motion to approve an agreement between Manteno Township Road District and the Village of Manteno for the mill and overlay portion, our portion of 10,000 North Road, under the village's jurisdiction for a cost of $238,386.87.
Yeah, this was discussed at our last Public Works meeting. Jim, you want to talk about what all is going to be done there, and what's the time frame on this?
Yeah, it would be a summer project. I think they're going out for bids based upon the approval of tonight's meeting. They're going to be going from Route 45 to Route 50, just about half and half between the Village of Manteno and then the township. It's going to be a mill and overlay, restriping the entire road. There's a couple rough spots on both stretches of the road on east of 57 and west of 57. So it's a highly trafficked road. It's going to be getting more and more use.
So the township will be handling all the bidding and taking care of all that, and then we will reimburse the township when it's completed?
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, and then I think that's important to get this done too, especially this year, because we've been meeting with the state of Illinois about, at some point in time, they're going to be working on our overpass at Road 9000. And while 10,000 has got a lot of traffic now, when 9,000 is under construction in the future years, potentially next year or the year following, that traffic's just going to get worse and worse. So having the road completed this year is important.
Yeah, and the road's been on our list for MFT for a few years, keep an eye on it, and it's great that we can get a joint venture on doing it. We get better prices with more quantity, so.
And the IC, or Canadian National, they're going to upgrade that?
That's been a conversation, they're trying to get that on the list. They've
Okay.
done a bunch of them going up north through the county, so that one's one of the last ones to get done, so it needs to be
Okay.
done.
That's it, and the next Public Works meeting is Tuesday, April 25th at 7 a.m. right here.
All right, you want to do the properties and recreation then also?
Because that'll be easy. We have nothing on the agenda, and no new meeting scheduled.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. Public Safety and Health, Mrs. Dole.
Thank you, Mayor. I don't have any action items on the agenda tonight. My next public safety meeting is April 12th at 7 a.m. here in the Village Boardroom. One, my safety tip is, on the internet you can find information about and images of almost anything. However, when it comes to your children's online activities, you need to make sure they're protected against contact with undesirable people, inappropriate or harmful content, and malicious software or attacks. Learning a few online safety tips for kids can help keep them safe, such as managing and monitoring your kids' internet access. Talk to your children about the potential dangers that they may face online. Move your children's computer to a common family room, if possible. Try to make the computer a shared family experience. Encourage your children to talk to you about anything they experience online that upsets them and makes them feel uncomfortable. Of course, all of this is easier said than done, especially if, as parents, you aren't as tech savvy as your kids. Fortunately, there are many resources available to assist parents with technology and children. SafeKids.org and the Illinois State Attorney General's website are great places to start. As always, if you think there's anything suspicious or potentially harmful going on, contact the Manteno Police Department immediately. And I wanted to say something about, it's getting that time again for the flags to be put out for Memorial Day, Flag Day, Independence Day, and Labor Day. And as we've done before, I have done before, it's gone online to the Village of Manteno site and printed I went down to applications, I think, or something, citizens and then applications or something, and to get the sheet here, and then take it over to the Village Hall with my check made out to the Troop 382. So I believe I haven't heard anything lately. I haven't heard they're not going to do it, but I wouldn't know what they're going to do with the flags again.
Yeah,
so.
no, they're definitely doing it,
Yeah.
and they've been picking up applications, and I don't
Good.
know how many they've got so far, but it's definitely another program that's it's been expanded this year. I think they did really good last year, and I think they're continuing to try to make it grow.
No, it was great. Every time those 4 days came up, it was a village to be proud of, to see all the flags and everything. So, and that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Dole. Planning and Zoning, Mr. Crockett is not here tonight. He has nothing on the agenda other than he has a meeting planned for Planning and Zoning Committee meeting on April 25th at 7 a.m. Here in the Village Boardroom. Finance, Mr. Geske.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a motion to authorize the purchase of signs for the new police department and the new public works facility from Fast Signs of Kankakee, Illinois, for a cost of $26,664 for the police department and $34,350 for the public works.
Again, this is an item we talked about at the last Public Works or Public Safety meeting, I don't remember which. These are lighted signs that are going to be attached to the Public Works facility that'll be lit up, visible from the interstate. They're pretty, I don't know, how big are the letters?
Close to 10 foot tall.
10 foot tall, so they're nice big letters, going to identify the new facility that on the north end of town. And then also the ones for the new police department There'll be mounted, lit signs mounted on the brick sign monument that is currently at the building right now.
In addition, I have Resolution 2213, a resolution of the Village of Manteno receiving and placing on file the preliminary budget for the fiscal year period of May 1, 2023 through April 30th, 2024, and payment of bills in the amount of $163,695.52, of which there are no TIF bills. Bills authorized and paid between board cycle were $39,624.23, and our next Finance Committee meeting is scheduled for the 12th of April at 7 a.m. right here in this village boardroom.
Thank you, Mr. Geske. General Government, Mr. Phillips, you have anything
I
tonight?
have nothing on the agenda tonight,
All
Mayor.
right. So the items that we'll be voting on tonight on the consent agenda are as follows. Under old business, we have nothing. Under new business, we have a motion to authorize a donation of $37,669 to Fortitude Outreach Community for the use on their building of a homeless shelter. Item number 2 is Resolutions 2213, which is a resolution of the Village of Manteno receiving and placing on file a preliminary budget for the fiscal year of May 1, 2023 through April 30th, 2024. Item number 3 is a motion to approve an agreement between Manteno Township Road District and the Village of Manteno for the mill and overlay portion of 10,000 North Road under the village's jurisdiction for a cost of $238,386.87. And also a motion to authorize the purchase of signs for the new police department and the new public works facility from Fast Signs of Kankakee, Illinois, for a cost of $26,664 for the police department and $34,350 for the public works facility. Also, a motion to approve the payment of the bills in the amount of $163,695.52, of which none are TIF 1 bills. Are there any items on the consent agenda that need to be voted on individually? Seeing none, I'd accept the motion to take a single roll call vote on the question of passage of the agenda items as read.
I make the motion.
Motion by Phillips, second by Martin. Roll call.
Phillips?
Yes.
Martin?
Yes.
Dole?
Yes.
Geske?
Yes.
Motion carries. Accept the motion to approve by unanimous vote the ordinances, resolutions, motions, and orders contained in the consent agenda as read.
I'll make that
Motion
motion.
by Dole,
Second.
second by Geske. Roll call.
Dole?
Yes.
Geske?
Yes.
Martin?
Yes.
Phillips?
Yes.
Motion carries. Mr. Martin, you have anything you want to comment about tonight?
No, I went through the police station and the public works building today, and they're beautiful and progress. A lot of progress, especially at the police station. The offices, I mean, it's going to be first class.
I know the police officers have gone over there with, regularly and gone through, and they've made suggestions on, different things that they, wanted to tweak here and there from the time that they've actually started the construction. So now it's starting to take shape. All the drywall's up. Jim, is there a time frame for both of those projects?
The PD, I think, is still pretty close to their original plan. I think they're probably about a month and a half out. The Public Works Department is probably a month and a half behind, so I think they're more looking like July.
ComEd has installed the new poles to get the power there.
Yep, new poles are going up on Maple Street, and Nicor, they should be putting in the new line for the Public Works Department, I think this week, we call it June, so.
So PD potentially moving in June, end of June, sometime in June, and Public Works in July.
I'm moving this summer.
Yeah. Well, nice thing, you won't have nothing else to do. There's no grass to mow.
That's going to be our focus, so.
Mrs. Dole, you have anything?
No, I don't.
Mr. Geske?
I have nothing.
Mr. Phillips?
Nothing
All
tonight.
right, I accept the motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Dole.
Second.
Second by Martin. Roll call.
Dole?
Yes.
Martin?
Yes.
Geske?
Yes.
Phillips?
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you very much for coming, for watching.